Welcome to Monday's Mental Mistakes. This week we're looking at the just world hypothesis. The just world hypothesis is our tendency to believe that the world is intrinsically fair. That is, we tend to believe that people deserve what they get, even when we have little reason to believe this. The just world hypothesis makes us more likely to look for explanations for random events, and at the same time, we are unlikely to see good or bad fortune as just a result of luck. Here's a simple example. Think about a time when something bad has happened to you. It need not be anything severe. If one of the first thoughts you had in this situation was, why did this happen to me? Or, what did I do to deserve this? Then congratulations. You probably suffer from the just world hypothesis, just like the rest of us. When we suffer misfortune, we tend to look at what we may have done that caused or contributed to it. While some amount of that is pragmatic concern for learning from our mistakes, one reason that we tend to do this more than is warranted is because we can't help but believe that we must have done something to deserve it, and that consequently we can avoid it from happening again. The principal way to counter the just world hypothesis is to consistently remind ourselves that many things happen due to random chance, rather than because people deserve it. This means adopting a general principle that direct cause and effect between someone's actions and their experiences needs to be demonstrated before we accept their culpability. For example, if a particularly unliked politician is the victim of a burglary, it is important to remind ourselves that there is really very little that person could have done to deserve to be robbed. To many, it may appear as poetic justice or karma, but this is not strictly true. In all likelihood, the burglary was unrelated to the identity of the householder, and hence any appeal to it being somehow fair is falling into the trap of the just world hypothesis. The just world hypothesis is related to our discomfort with the idea that the world may be an unjust or arbitrary place, where crimes aren't punished and good deeds go unrewarded. While many atheists have little trouble accepting this intellectually, many of us still struggle to accept such a world on an emotional level. Similarly, many religious people also struggle to accept this, as many religions only promise justice after death. It can seem inconceivable that someone's earthly crimes may never be punished because that person may never be caught and repent sometime before death. Because of our discomfort with the idea of an unjust world, one way to reduce our tendency to invoke the just world hypothesis is to train ourselves to become more comfortable with the idea of injustice. That is not to say that we should just simply accept it and not work against it, but rather that the more that we are exposed to the idea that the world may not be fair, the more comfortable we will be with such unfairness. Fighting against injustice can often be motivated by the simple realization that the world is intrinsically unfair and that all fairness must be created. In conclusion, the just world hypothesis is our tendency to believe that the world is intrinsically fair. Until next week, may your mental mistakes be minor.